When I was in middle school, my grades were a constant source of disappointment for my father. I always had too many B's, and occasionally I'd even come back with the dreaded C on my report card. One semester, I decided that I was going to buckle down and I was going to get good grades. And so that semester, the whole semester, I worked my butt off. I made sure all of my assignments were done in time and done correctly. I studied for all the tests. And in the end, it ended up paying off on the day I got my report card. I had straight A's, the best you could possibly do. You can't do any better than straight A's. My school was about 2 miles away from home, but that day, I'm pretty sure I floated the entire way home. I don't think my feet even touched the ground once. I was on cloud nine. I was so ecstatic about my grades. I was so happy. I just couldn't wait to get home and show off what I'd done this semester. Straight A's. You can't do any better than that. Now, when I got home, I burst through the door. I danced up to my father. I thrust my report card at him. And I sat back and I waited for him to heap and lavish praises upon me. He glanced at the report card. He handed it back to me. And he said, "Well, yeah, but did you really do the best you possibly could, or did you just do the bare minimum to get straight A's?" That was not the answer that I was expecting. That was not the response that I was planning for. Now, in hindsight, I realized that that's the only response I could have expected. There couldn't have been another response because my father only knew how to look for things that were wrong. He only knew how to look for things to criticize. He had no concept of giving encouragement. Consequently, I grew up with the same behaviors. I learned to look for things that were wrong. I learned to look for things to criticize. Now, from my experiences, my learnings, and my observations, I know that the best way to influence better performance in other people is through encouragement and positive reinforcement. I know this. I've seen it again and again and again. The best way to improve performance, the quickest, and have the best lasting results in improvement is with positive reinforcement and encouragement. Now, even though I understood this, I still struggled with it constantly. It was very difficult for me to find things to encourage. All I could see was the things that needed to be criticized. I did this with my kids. I knew they needed my encouragement to thrive, but I seemed to only be able to find faults with their behavior. I did this with my employees. Again, I knew they needed my positive reinforcement to really unlock their potential and do better, but I found it very hard to find things to give positive reinforcement for, to be encouraging about. Now, I have a friend, and she is just the opposite. She is very good at finding the best in everybody. It doesn't matter who it is, she can find something good about them. And the funny thing is, once she points it out to me, it's obvious. Of course, that was always there. Why couldn't I see it? Well, the reason why is because I never learned to look for it. I learned to look for the things that were wrong and the things that needed to be criticized. She was just the opposite. She had been encouraged and given positive reinforcement, and people found the good in her, and that taught her how to find the good in other people and to be encouraging and positive with them. As I began to practice looking for and finding positive things in other people that I could encourage them about, this became easier and easier over time. Now, it's still a struggle. I still find it to this day much easier to find things to criticize people about than I do to find things to encourage them about. That's because I grew up with that habit, with that behavior. And I've learned to replace it, but it's still a bit of a struggle. Mostly, I've learned to keep my mouth in check, most of the time. As the old adage goes, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And when you try this, when you learn to stop criticizing and you learn to bring out the encouragement, you will immediately see results change for the better. The difference in results is amazing and almost nearly immediate. With encouragement and positive reinforcement, results improve much more quickly, and they tend to stay improved over the long haul. This technique works with employees, it works with kids, It works with spouses, neighbors, dogs, whatever. This is definitely a behavior to learn if you don't already know this one. Now, in general in life, if you're not getting the results that you're looking for, you're not getting the results you want, the answer is always in your behaviors. Knowing the right path is not the same as walking the right path. You don't need to understand why encouragement and positive reinforcement works in order to make use of it. You simply have to do it. If you practice it, you'll see the difference. So, the next time you find you're not getting the results in any area of life, whether it's in human performance or in your finances or in your relationships, whatever the case may be, ask yourself, which of my behaviors is driving these results? It is some behavior of yours that is making these results. What are better behaviors to have? Once you have that answered, practice the new behaviors until they become second nature and begin to replace the old unfruitful behaviors.